Красный или зеленый?
Ну,
Пешком
в
или
общем,
на лифте?
здравствуйте, дорогие.
Anyway,
Как думаешь?
hello guys.
Хайкер.
Да неужели?
Я...
Ну, давай разбираться.
В общем,
Anyway,
у нас форум
anyway,
Наша жизнь буквально
we
хакерский.
пропитана...
are still at PhD.
И
It's a hackers forum. We are discussing
вот сейчас у меня за спиной
information security, and we also here investigate deepfakes. You saw one deepfake behind me, Vladimir.
я снова рада.
Could not leave the stage on time, and he stayed here for a while as a deepfake. Okay, welcome back. We are going to
Интересные вещи. Мы будем разговаривать.
discuss something very interesting. Right now, we're going to talk about the youth, we're going to talk about the math, and we talk about cryptography, and we are also going to talk about a museum, how these different words got together. You will find out very soon. Please welcome Vartan Khachaturov, CEO at Kryptonite.
Что такое криптонит?
Right? What is Kryptonite, Vartan?
Музей криптографии.
And the Museum of Cryptography, what association do you have with it?
Производственная компания, мы занимаем
We are a research and production company. We do scientific research in cryptography, and we also develop products that are related to cryptography and to big data.
отличие как бы было ровно в том, что мы с самого начала делаем
We were different because from the very beginning,
большое количество работающих ученых, которые
we put our bets on employing many scientists, many researchers, academics, because we also wanted to develop the academic side of it. In the cryptography market,
обеспечены.
we are one of the best supplied in terms of academic expertise.
Сейчас увлечено
Do you think that the younger generation today is actually enthusiastic about crypto something? Well, crypto something, yes, it's very popular. Oh, you mean cryptocurrencies, of course.
другим
No, I didn't mean that kind of crypto.
Ну, на мой взгляд,
Well,
и это то, почему в том числе как
I believe,
недостаточно
and here where the museum
науку, да,
makes the stage,
её
the
совершенно точно нужно возвращать.
we must bring back, well, rather, we must make science fashionable again. We must explain to children that science is not something boring. And it's not just algebra lessons in school, but it's exciting. It's interesting. Everything that they see around them is based on algebra that they study at school. And I think that this will,
Время детям вырастет.
after a while, it will
Кто мог бы не
make some of these children into good scientists. Some of them will want to become mathematicians, for instance. And yes, there are
криптографических есть
kids who participate already in various cryptography games and competitions and math studios, but the movement is still not very massive.
Но в моей картине
Okay, I don't want to argue, but in my worldview, when I was a young kid,
сейчас
I knew my country to be the best read in the world. But now, as I am
я вижу,
following the news,
часто вижу истории о том, что
very often I get to hear
и математика.
that the country is very strong in physics and math, and Russian coders are the best coders ever.
Сейчас куда делись
Ну, во-первых,
дети
сам по
математики?
себе
Были
первый
математики
тезис.
родители?
I mean, the parents are known to be good mathematicians, but not kids. Why not kids?
спорный.
Well, I'm not sure about the first statement that you made.
Во-вторых, если это
I would argue with that as well. But even if it were the case,
которые сейчас выросли, да, и
these are the people who grew up. I mean, if you
сейчас там 12
look at the teenagers, the 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds,
их интересы далеко не всегда лежат там
their interests
в технологии
are not
ее внутреннего устройства с точки зрения ей
always
оснований математических,
Um,
научных,
they do not always extend to the scientific foundations of what surrounds them. They are more interested in TikTok formats, clips,
это способ их вовлечь
small formats. So yes, it's a way to engage them, but our objective is
настоящий инженер или настоящий ученый, ему нужно
to eventually get a good scientist, a good engineer, and to become a good engineer, you need to study a lot, and you wouldn't be able to become a good engineer through clips.
для того, чтобы
People need to understand that technology is complex and complicated, and you have to study it.
фундаментальная школа.
We have always been strong in the Soviet Union with the fundamental, schooling. So first, a person would be trained as a mathematician, and later would be trained to be a programmer because they had this excellent education and algorithms that would become good programmers. But now what we are lacking is this fundamental initial training. Today things are changing, I understand, and probably we do not need that many programmers with excellent fundamental education, but also because of that, the quality of fundamental training also suffers.
Очень критично сейчас.
Well, what you are saying, I think, is rather critical.
Мы разучились, мы,
What I hear you say
еще остатки,
is
мы осколки, а наши
our
дети
kids, our kids
думать сложнее, воспринимать сложнее, чем
do not know how to perceive the world in a complex way, in a complex manner. They can perceive the world through clips, but not in anything more complex than that.
вы, мне кажется,
Well, what we try to do, and by the way, yeah, the museum, yeah, we are trying to explain complex things in a simple way.
Больше всего времени.
And it's something that took most of our time. We actually assembled a lot of professional scientists so that together they would be able to explain to a 13-year-old how electronic signature works. And it's not easy. And it's not easy. It's you have to stay true to the mathematical background of it. You can explain it in an easy way, but you can't demonstrate it in an easy way. And the components that we are displaying, they are intended for the people who have little knowledge or who have this a habit of clip thinking to keep them interested.
До более глубоких историй, потому что можно сказать, ну хорошо, вот, чтобы это объяснить.
And again, that explanation can be used as a basis for another explanation. You can tell the viewer that that's the part of math that actually is the theory for what you saw, and you can go beyond 2 + 2 = 4. You can go deeper. You can let kids play with the basics first, and then get them interested. And after that, you can teach them in more profound matters. How old is the museum? We opened it at the end of last year. End of last year. Okay. End of last year.
Приходят ли к вам дети повторно? Есть ли у вас понимание,
Do you get repeated visits? Okay. Yes, we do.
как влияет на
Okay. So if a child comes back,
каким он возвращается?
I mean, is this a different child now?
И вообще посеять зерно математики в детских головах.
Do you see your seeds sown there? Well, the museum is quite big,
Если нажимать на все кнопки,
and if you press all buttons,
провести там 5 часов, 6 часов,
you can stay there for 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours.
там несколько слоев, да, информация.
And the museum it presents information, different layers. Every installation has a lot of information. So often people or kids come back to continue their visit.
Программы дальше
They want to press all the buttons eventually.
оставляют в
But once they are in, we also offer educational programs. We want to keep the kids inside this educational environment. And we also add installations, and we also fix errors.
Про инсталляции и
Can you say something about the installation, about the displays?
как бы две линии.
Well, we've got
Классический музей, что мы
two dimensions. We are a classical museum. That is to say, we display a lot of classical equipment, special encryption devices, and stuff.
у
we've got Enigma, we've got Fialka of the Violet. We have a lot of pieces of equipment, and we explain how this equipment works. And in addition to the actual devices, we also explain the math. We explain why this device works the way it does, how it's built internally, what are the fundamental factors that enable its existence. So basically, you can come there as a viewer of pieces of equipment, and you can also come there as a more profound viewer who wants to go deeper into details. So historically, the historical exhibits, I mean, we have a lot of pieces of technology. We retell the story of those devices, and we also tell stories of people. Cryptography in the Soviet Union was a closed off sphere, and the names of the people who were considered to be experts were not very well known. But we bring back their stories. There is the office of Kotelnikov, for instance, that has his own things, his own belongings in it. So it's an interactive museum, but it is also a very traditional museum. Wonderful, Vartan.
Будет финальным.
I have a final question to you.
С какого возраста вы рекомендуете?
What is the age
Есть ли что-то,
of your target audience? And would parents be interested in visiting your museum as well? Well, first of all, the parents would definitely be very happy to visit the museum. Probably the parents would be more interested in learning about history. I don't know. There are some parents who also like pressing buttons. As to kids, I'd say 10, 11, 12 is probably the best age. Well, of course, you can bring kids of any age, but it's best if your kid knows how to read, at least.
Друзья,
Thank you very much, Vartan.
внезапно есть дети от 10
Well, dear friends, if you've got kids aged 10 up, then please come see Vartan's museum. If you do not have kids, go and see Vartan's museum.
то подойдите к маме.
If you are under the age of 10, then go and talk to your mom and dad and tell them to take you to the cryptography museum.